I should start by saying I'm delighted to see that the Naval Service seagoing allowance has been retained. It's one of the good things in the budget. It's something that needs an awful lot more work with respect to our soldiers. Something, as soldiers, sailors and airmen, something you might consider is that duty allowance should be tax-free. It would make a huge difference to members of the forces. Look, in 2008-29, this country was in dire straits, and there's no doubt at all about it. Things had to be done to get the country back on its feet. But there is absolutely no case now to retain the USC. USC should have been scrapped in this budget. There's no need for it. FEMPI should be totally unwound. There is no need for FEMPI. FEMPI applies rather peculiarly how it's applied in this particular place. Legislation was brought in, and this brings me on to the difficulty ordinary citizens have with legislation that was brought in during the financial crisis. If we want to change it, we have to go to the High Court to change it, because the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform and the Department of Finance will do nothing unless they're dragged kicking and screaming to resolve some of the issues. Some of the things that come in under that, the pension abatement, brought in during the financial emergency to stop highly paid civil servants taking their lump sum, retiring and coming straight back into work in this public service. But there is no justification in pension abatement on a private soldier who has a pension of maybe 20,000 a year and wants to work for the state, could bring valuable experience in the security area into some areas in the state, but is caught by the Single Pension Act or is caught by the abatement. There is absolutely no reason for having that. Now, one of the things there has been a lot of discussion about here this afternoon is housing, the housing crisis, the vulture funds, the landlords, etc., etc. I was doing a little bit of research on this over the last couple of days. The average income in Romania is under 15,000. The average home ownership in Romania is 96.1%. 96.1%. Where have we gone wrong? How are we getting it so wrong in this country that we are, there's, 500 housing agencies in the country? Local authority housing? It's all over the place. How come we've got it so wrong? It's very, very hard to understand. We're pumping money into private industry, private concerns now to build houses in order that they can rent them to the state. Recently in my own area, a development that started out to be luxury apartments has been bought by a housing agency. Are we paying twice for them? I'm just wondering about where things are going wrong. The other thing with respect to the way the public service, and I know that the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform is soon to go into negotiations with the public services unions, and I'm afraid the days of one size fitting all no longer work. For example, our Gardaí and Defence Forces, their terms and conditions of employment, and particularly their pension schemes, are driving them out the gate in droves. Young officers that we have spent a lot of money training are leaving at the rank of captain because there is no incentive to stay. The pension scheme is lousy. I know this is probably slightly in the other half of the public expenditure and reform area, but it's rare we get an opportunity to have a go at a Minister for Finance and lay out the issues on the ground that are seriously affecting people. In the few seconds that I have left, one of the areas very close to my heart at the moment is our deplorable state of cybersecurity in the country and cybersecurity awareness. And I'm wondering if there would be a possibility to bring in some sort of tax incentive for companies particularly to skill up their employees in the area of cyber. We pride ourselves as being a country for foreign direct investment, and if we don't get our act together in the cyberspace, we will no longer be a country that people will want to come to invest. So those are just a few points I wanted to get off my chest. So undo FEMPI, repay the public servants for what they did to save this country. Get rid of the USC. We were promised that when it came in, that it wouldn't be kept forever. we keep sneaking in these sort of 1% charges and they never go away. Get rid of it. Give the public servants back what they contributed. God knows, so many of them, members of mine when I was president of the Teachers' Union of Ireland, who had engaged and undertaken large mortgages, suddenly found themselves in a situation where they were on the breadline. So maybe it's time to give them back a little bit of what they invested into the country. Thank you.